Hello tonight. Um, Tonight I'm going to talk about something. Um, Everybody's talking about this 2012, December 21st, 2012. I've been thinking about this. Over the histories of the centuries, Earth has been doing a lot of things here lately. Earthquakes, um, tidal waves, tsunamis. Places have 2 to 3 times earthquakes within 1 year. And war over the Middle East. During our history and past histories, people's prediction in even the Bible says there will be a war in the East, the Middle East, while there is a war in the Middle East. And starting wondering, are we in the wrong year? Somewhere along the line, I'm starting to believe that 2012 is 2011 instead. Earth had disasters every century, and start wondering if people in past million years, either they moved up a date in the years and we're in the wrong century, the wrong year. This should be 2012, not 2011, because there's signs, and we haven't even got to summer yet, and that's when it's supposed to start hitting harder. Volcanoes are supposed to be erupting. They were talking about in Japan, if they have any more earthquakes, stronger earthquakes, that volcano will erupt. It would destroy half of Japan. And since it sits on 3 different faults over there, there will be more disasters to that island and surrounding countries. Here in the United States, we know California is waiting for the big one, and it's next on its list. And half of California will fall off into the ocean. Earth has been moved more than 40 feet now. Seeing signs around the world that the airport has to change directions from north, east, south, and west now. Doesn't even match with the runway to these airports. Indiana had several earthquakes in the past. Within 1 year or two, we had 2 earthquakes. We had one new fault line last year showed up, and nobody investigate that fault line. Illinois earthquake shook down the northern part of Chicago all the way from southern Illinois and parts of Indiana. If it continues like this, New York will start having their earthquakes, and if California and that volcano out west erupts like they are predicting, they've been watching that volcano in the Midwest, out west. It's about ready to go, but they don't know when. But they've been watching. In past years, we had a lot of hurricanes that ripped through Florida, New Orleans, Texas. You wouldn't believe how many floodings we had. So that is a sign that the world is to the end. And it's tired of what we've been doing to the earth. But the signs are there. I think the scientists need to re-look at the history of how far that history is correct in the wrong year. We always thought the world is the wrong time century, and the year is wrong. The Mayans predicted 2012, December 21st, 2012. But the Mayans always looked at the sun and looked at the stars. And our American Indians, the Hopi Indians, had the same thing. They looked at the suns and the earth and the stars. Because when 2012 is supposed to show up, all the planets line up in one line. Now, the moon was part of alignment. It will be moved to the other side, not where it is now, when all this alignment is done and is back on course. But the people here in the Midwest, if Earth moves from these earthquakes more and more, we'd be pretty much where Canada is. And how they always talk about the Mississippi River. It will split half up the country. Scientists say that, I'm listening to all these about the scientists talk about how Ice Age were, how it was over Indiana and farther south. Not, say, above Georgia. If we had another earthquake, Indiana, Illinois will split. The country all the way down to the southern part of Alabama. Say that will split in half. So if it splits, Lake Michigan will make a new whole lake through this part of the country. But yeah, wars has already begun. Signs from the Bible saying war from the Middle East will start until someone gives up the fight. I think 2012 is here right now. The year's wrong when they predicted. I think it'd be 2011, December 21st. But I know there'll be some people out there saying differently, but if you look at the history in the Bible and what's going on, all this should be starting like in 2012 or at the end of 2011. This should start it, but it's been starting since end of 2010 through 2011 so far. But we haven't got to summer. If the sun heats up like it says, solar rays come to Earth, heating up the planet, we'll be using more of our air conditionings. Our electric will be up so high, be like blowing a fuse again. Several years ago, I remember eastern half of the United States was blacked out because of an electrical problem from heat or showing people using a lot of their air conditioning units or more to try to keep them cool, especially for the elderly people and those who are very sick. they need to stay cool. They have no way of keeping themselves cool, but besides fans and stuff. But if we got to a point of using more electricity, yeah, this whole entire United States or the world will go blackout if a heat wave from that sun heat up the earth more than what it should be, over 110 degrees. Yeah, it'd be worse than ever trying to stay cool. And it can't go out. Like last year, it was more higher. It was hotter last year. It got worse through the summer. And we didn't have much rain through the summer we did last year. And this year we had a lot of, out east, more snow because they didn't have rain. The weather's been screwed up ever since. But if you look at it today, we are in, I believe we're in the wrong year. Things are happening like the Bible says, and people who predict the future. But if you look around the world, start to look and see what you think. Are we in 2012 now or 2011? And look at the time zones. Back then they didn't have time zones. The Mayans and the Hopi Indians didn't have no time zones like we do today around the world. And land mass did break apart, form different countries. If we have another earthquake from Chile or someplace else that could shake this earth again, move earth or land, be more and more people hurt. And there's a lot of people already hurt from Japan, like Hades, people from tsunamis. Water will rise from earthquakes in the water, in the ocean. And waves from Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, since those waves will go up higher than ever. But if you look in history, I truly believe that this is 2012, not 2011. 2011, because I think in the last 100 years or a million years, someone could have changed the date of the year to move it back or move it forward. And I think the scientists needs to look at more of that. That's all I'm going to be talking to tonight. But please think about what I just said tonight. Think of what's been happening. This could be the year of 2012 we're in now instead of 2011. Because nobody knows if somebody moved the years ahead and they just forget. Maybe they try to say, well, if we move somewhere in the future, we might be able to stop this. But how can we stop the Earth if Earth is trying to save itself? We build too many buildings. It's ruining the ground. It can't hold the weight anymore of the population of buildings and stuff. It's weakening the ground. The ground is getting weak. And maybe that's the sign to say, hey, it's time to back off